Hello my friends, hope you guys are doing fine today. This is a special video upon a request from one of my subscribers. He asked me to put together some of NASA's bloopers. So I decided to go ahead and put some of what I have. But these are not just the ones that become more popular, but also the most convincing ones. The very first part, we're going to look at morphing objects, things that morph into the astronauts' bodies. We're going to look at the astronauts fading in or out of the ISS or so. We're going to look at wires and harnesses, the underwater training facility, random anomalies that I'm going to be pointing at, and glitches and more glitches. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to cover now the morphing objects, things that really look suspicious, And the first one, we saw the Chris Hadfield and playing the guitar. When you zoom in, you look at the microphone, how it just penetrates his face, his neck. You see the microphone as we zoom in, which makes me believe that this microphone is not even real. He's looking at a monitor, and which projects this microphone to us who are looking. Or even the Chris Hadfield is not even there. It's another CGI image. This is also very telling, to say the least. You see the microphone on his hand and the wire, and how the wire just goes through his hand, just like if there was nothing there. And we're going to zoom in, so you'll be able to look closely. Just pay attention, see how the wires of the wire of the microphone just goes through his hand, just like if there was nothing there. So either the astronaut hand is CGI, or which I believe is the microphone itself and the wire. He looks at the monitor, he pretends to be holding it, but it's not really there. Right? He can see on the monitor, that's why he keeps looking at the monitor, and we see what he sees, but it's not really there. And this one, you see the microphone disappearing also from her hand, comes back and goes away. So you see the glitches there. Now you see it, and then now you don't see it anymore. It just like disappears. So some of these anomalies in this so-called live transmission of the ISS. This is a really interesting one. I had a lot of trouble trying to find this image in high definition. You just see his face, like his whole head morphs into this part of the fuselage of the ISS. It penetrates. This lady, you see the pendant on her neck, how it penetrates her neck, goes inside her throat. So, you see that it's probably a digital image. Now you see this guy playing ping pong with the water ball. The water ball on one side of the racket, you can see on the other side of this racket, which demonstrates that the ball is really CGI, and they were not able to do a good job there. You can see on the other side. Same situation here. This is a high definition 4K image of Scott Kelly. He keeps looking at the monitor in front of him because there's no water ball there. Just pay attention to his eyes. He just positioned the rackets there, but he's looking at the monitor. On the monitor, he sees the CGI ball, and that's what they show us as well. His eyes is not on the ball or on the rackets. It's at the monitor. His eyes on the monitor. So he just places there the racket, but the ball, it's a CGI ball. So now let's look at fading in and out astronauts. This is from the Chinese Space Agency. Just see the guy fading in. Now I have seen some explanations from Globers. They say this is just fading like I can do, fading in from one image to the other. The problem is when I do this effect, the whole image fades in into another one. But in this case, you see just the astronaut fading in, so it seems like he was in front of a CGI screen. This is famous too. You see the guy fading out as he enters that other compartment. He, fades out. And you see some glitches also in the other side, opposite side of the ISS. He's back, and that's a pretty weird move. It clearly sees that he's hanging on wires. He has to control his weight. And now you see him disappearing again. And this is also interesting. You see his head going through the upper part of this compartment where they are. It just goes right through it, as his head is totally CGI. So which makes us think that either him is not physically there, but just like a projected image, or he's in front of a CGI screen. This one, we see that the guy's left foot is not there. It's transparent feet, his feet are not there. So he's not only hanging on wires, but it's a CGI image. The guy is not really there. His image is being projected there, so he's in front of a CGI somewhere. Same way here, you see the guy just fading in out of nowhere. Just like in Star Trek, beaming in Scotty. So this guy fades out, just beamed there, just like in Star Trek. So let's look now at some scenes with wires and harnesses. This is a really interesting image. Pay attention in the back. The guy is gonna run through hanging. You can clearly see he is hanging on a harness, around his waist. So we're gonna reverse the image. See right there? He is hanging. And you can see the way he is positioned. If he was really in outer space, he wouldn't have to have in this position. He's balancing, his leg is lower than his upper body to be more or less comfortable, not to have his blood running to his head. So he has his head a little bit upper. Now this guy, you see his arm there. We're gonna look at glitches a few more minutes, but you see his arm glitching. Now let's focus again on the guy in the back. There he is again, just hanging there, literally hanging there, like we normally say. So a whole bunch of CGI. The hat in front of the guy is probably just an image on the monitor that he's looking. And the famous image that the guy seems to be picking up something and putting it aside. So he's seeing that on his monitor, but somehow they fail to broadcast that image to us. So it's looking like he's putting something away, just like this guy is playing with the hat, but the hat's not really there. It's just in front of him on the monitor. And one more time, we see the guy in the back. This image is really hard to find now, so I tried my best to put them all together. You can share with family and friends. And see, that's why we don't believe NASA, because if space was real, we would not need that. Look at this image. This person is clearly hanging upside down, pretending to be in space with no gravity. But you see the scene moving because it's being placed there. Probably was filmed before. See the green screen there, the person hanging upside down. And when we turn the person right side up, you can see her face. It's like blood is rushing all over her face because she's literally hanging upside down. This lady, you can see her jacket or her overall. She's being pulled up with a wire, and nothing. This is not really outer space. Just shows some wires and harnesses, and the way she moves, really like not natural. Another one there, this guy doing a backflip, and his leg got tangled in a wire. You can see there he's trying to, pretend nothing happened, but we saw it. He got his left leg entangled on one of the wires that's holding them. Clearly something wrong there. Then we had this guy, you see that his arm also got entangled with something. He has to get back and untangle his arm to hold the CGI microphone in front of him. And this one also the same way, he's going to have his leg entangled, see there? His leg got entangled with a wire, and they had to cut short the broadcasting. There he is, he's got his left leg entangled on the wire. It's pure deception, this whole thing is pure deception. A famous image, we have seen this video times. The astronaut backflips, and the astronaut next to him pulls him closer to him, and you can see there he holds on a wire. He doesn't grab his pants, he grabs above his pants, just above, and you can clearly see that it's probably a wire. So you see him pulling him closer to him. He flipped, and then he was going out of the frame, or the camera view. So he kind of kept the guy close to him. Here you see the harness on his belly. Same guy there, he tries to pick something down the ground, and you can see the place where the harness attaches to his body. This lady, you can see that her head is tilting up, she's balancing, proof that she's not in space, she's here, and because our head normally will balance, and she tries to balance her head because she's not in outer space, she's in Houston. Here you see Hollywood takes on behind the scenes of movies where they are using green screen and wires. And once everything is added into the movie, they hide the wires, and you really think the person is floating in space. Sandra Bullock, really famous scene in the movie Gravity, and many people thought that she really went to space to make this movie. Some people thought that she went to the ISS. Scott Kelly, with his stiff arms holding close together because he doesn't want to get tangled. So he does the same with his legs. He crosses his legs and his arms. All these people hanging on wires, we can clearly see that. And these guys, they are sitting on the wires, actually, like hanging, on harnesses or something. There is a place in the US somewhere where they do training. Look at this guy floating there. He's really hanging on the wire. It's so evident. The British guy who went to backflip and fell, it's pretty embarrassing. Now this lady had a very hard time. She's not really knowledgeable of working with the wires around her waist. And also she tried to pick up something and she lost the balance of her body. Instead of looking like she's floating, she had a hard time. So they had to switch immediately. You can see how they change cameras, show the people there in the office working, but it was too late, You can clearly see that she was hanging, and she doesn't know exactly what to do there. Probably improvise something. Let's look now at the underwater training facility. Look at this lady looking at the several screens, and one of them is a green screen. So even though you see the structure of the ISS, behind is a green screen, which means they can place anything there. The blackness of the space, Earth, the moon, anything. So that's the underwater training facility. This one is in Houston. I never thought they would have anything like this with the entire ISS built inside so they can practice their, outside walks. And there you see some images that you cannot distinguish whether they are underwater or in space, because with green screen technology and models, like mock-up models, they can do anything. They claim to be in outer space, but it could be also in one of those underwater training facilities with the blackness of space, as they call it, projected onto the green screen behind them, or the blue screen. And here you see the astronauts, and there is a guy filming him, and that's a scuba diver. He even has scuba diver gear, and it reflects on his helmet. So, NASA got caught there, and that image alone made many people stop believing NASA. Let's look at some random anomalies. These are, like for example, this one, Chris Hadfield brushing his teeth, and then you can look on the corner, bottom corner, right side, this object that's floating there slowly. But what happens is Chris Hadfield is going to accelerate. He's going to, they will edit the video, fast forward him brushing teeth real fast, but the image that's floating doesn't change at all. It's still slow. Pay attention now. Look, they fast forward the camera, make him brushing teeth like real fast, like the flash. But the object's there, just floating really slow. So you see evidence of 2 layers there, perhaps 3. You have the background, you have Chris Hadfield, and then you have another layer in front of him. This one, Don Petit's Coffee in Space, famous. And he talks proudly about his coffee in space, but you see there evidence of layers as well. The coffee, the layer, just gets removed. It's a glitch there, and the layer gets out of place, exposing just the container. These images are really weird. There you see there a secret handshake. First, they have a regular handshake. Then they do a secret one, like the ones they use in secret societies. Let's zoom in, that's the regular one. And then they do a second one, which is the secret society handshake. And you have a picture on top right, demonstrating what kind of handshake they are giving to each other. I searched all over until I found this guy coming out of a submarine. And you see the ISS door, totally different one from the other. Both are supposed to be containing, pressure, high pressure, and preventing, the water and the space vacuum. Now let's look at glitches and more glitches. Several of them. This is the longest part in this video. I'm going to look at several glitches here. So first one, this image is pretty popular now. Many people have seen it already. This lady, this stuffed animal comes out of nowhere, just pops up in front of her. So showing that it's already there, they hide it with CGI, and then there was a malfunction probably. It's probably supposed to be there the whole time, and there was a glitch there. Here you see her flipping the microphone, and it's all glitchy. And also you're gonna look at her eyes. Look at her eyes. She's not really looking at the microphone. She's looking at the screen in front of her. But also there are some glitches on her face. So that means there are several layers there. This guy also, you see how glitchy. This is from ODD TV. You see it there, glitching all over his arm, and the ball is glitching. His hand is glitching. And you're gonna see his legs, his whole body glitches. He's hanging on wires, of course, perhaps 2 or 3 layers CGI. And the background, I suppose it's at the mock-up, ISS mock-up center in building, I think it's building 47, building 17, something like that. Alright, this is also popular. Many people have seen them fading out, glitching out. Malfunction of CGI there. You see the layer in front of him. You clearly see there are 2 layers at least. 1 layer of CGI in front of them, in front of the background, which is the mock-up ISS in Houston. Okay, more glitches there. You see the lady, the origami stuff she has in front of her, all glitchy. Now you see her bag of juice or water, how glitchy it is. Perhaps not there. This guy, pay attention to his eyes, just like the lady we saw. His eyes also glitches. But we're gonna look at this in detail. I'm gonna show you why. We will have another image like that. See this British astronaut hands glitching. There his friend walks into the scene and glitches out his head out of the picture there. You see through his head the other side because it's just a layer. More glitching. The same lady from the stuffed animal, different t-shirt. The microphone there, she is with Terry Wirtz, American astronaut. This man is flipping his phone, it's all glitchy, and also he's hanging on wires. You can see that he's folding his legs because he is supported up to his waist, so his legs are hanging, so he folds them to touch the floor, And you see how his hands, his arms, all glitches. And then, after he talks a little bit, look at his arms there. You're gonna see glitching real bad. See, his hand is frozen time on top, while his arm and hand is below towards his waist. So you see the glitching there. Evidence of layers of computer generated images. The wires are pulling him up. On the back, the scene of the ISS mock-up in Houston. British astronaut again, his hands and fingers glitch, and sometimes his fingers go through the microphone, just like the microphone went through Chris Hadfield's neck at the very beginning of this video. A lot of evidences of CGI manipulation in these videos. Alright, this is the third scene I want you to pay attention. Look at his eyes. You can see through his head to something that's behind, a light or the background there. So this is evidence of green screen. You see the tolerance there, 0, 20. Now 140 is the perfect one, and 185 is too much. You start seeing what's on the other side. So sometimes when you see those glitches, that's the reason. Former President Bush, and on the back you see there the British astronaut again. Very famous scene showing that he was in front of a blue screen. And with a green, see that a green ball, which later will turn into a water ball. See there on the right, you see the water ball, but on the screen you see a green, just a green ball. So more evidence of blue screen. And from that point, NASA started showing these blue screens, some of their videos, like this one. Didn't make much sense. They just want to say, oh no, that's normal. But after they got caught and people pointed out, for a short time they used this screen, but then they took it out. There you see again Chris Hadfield, and you see his can of tuna being glitched out and in his whole body. So evidence of layers, 2 or 3 layers there of CGI. So, in order for them to grab those things, they keep looking at a monitor. Sometimes they wear, it's called augmented magnification, they wear some lenses, contact lenses, which allow them to see virtually what's in front of them. You see his arm, you see the green screen there. See, that's a big glitch right there, blooper for NASA, because you clearly see the green screen. So he's in front of a green screen. Perhaps the whole image is doing a live while he's in front of the green screen, while they project the background all at the same time. You see this astronaut here, his hand glitches, the wire of his microphone glitches also. See, more evidence of green screen, hand is freezing. And they pay attention to the wires, we're gonna look at the wires, how they break apart like digital. That's all digital image. There you see some people demonstrating to you how they do it. You see NASA, computer graphics, creating CGI satellites. So this is all made in with the computer, green screen, blue screen technology. Alright guys, so that's all for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Share, like, thumbs up, and share with friends and family. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet. Support this channel. We've been coming a long way. So thanks for watching. May the Lord bless you. Keep your family safe. I'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.
Don't waste any more time. Visit the links above now and order my book 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth. Visit my online store now and order the new enhanced Gleason's Flat Earth map. This map used to be in every school and library in the nation before NASA was created in 1958, when the maps were ordered removed. Have your Gleason's map hanging on the wall in your house, where no government can take it down. Here you see it hanging on a wall in the house of the late Charles K. Johnson. Here is a quote from the book 1984 by George Orwell. Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Order your map now.